The Burning. What is that, 1980? I didn't write the year down.
Well, absolutely. The crown jewel.
Summary for this film: a former summer camp caretaker, horribly burned from a prank gone wrong, lurks around an upstate New York summer camp, bent on killing the teenagers responsible for his disfigurement. Director Tony Maylam. Written and created by Harvey Weinstein. Oh my God!
What?
He's the guy that started Miramax.
I know who he is. I know who Harvey Weinstein is.
You know who he is?
I saw him in the credits. I was like, oh shit.
I think this was their.
This is his first.
Yeah.
Him and his brother. But yeah, got some. The one writer on here, though, Peter Lawrence, worked with Thundercats and Silverhawks. Man, he really had a lot of stuff. What do you got over there?
A tagline: "Gather around the campfire to die." Distributed by Filmways Pictures. This has got a few Blu-rays. Scream Factory's got it. Arrow's got it. I had the Scream Factory from 2013.
So, what happens in this movie is this caretaker guy, Cropsy, these kids hate him for whatever fucking reason, and they decide they're going to play a prank on him. Now, the prank includes some sort of skull candle with a lot of worms on it, and
Which looks great.
It does. It looks really cool. Gotta say though, Cropsy kind of killed himself or fucked himself up. Whatever. He, overreacting to that. He just lost his shit. I thought it was interesting that Tom Savini turned down working on Friday the 13th Part 2 to make this movie. And I think the raft scene is probably some of his best fucking work ever. I love the way he attacks with those shears too, because Cropsy uses like these hinge trimmers or hedge trimmers, whatever, and he just has to kind of it's just weird angles. As I'm watching this movie, I'm like watching it through a Harvey Weinstein lens because of all the recent things. And I noticed that none of the men have normal sexual things with women. None of the women want to be involved with it at all. They're either like succumbing, like, okay, or they're like, get off of me.
Or they're spying on the women without their knowledge.
Even the characters who have who are couples and have a dynamic where the man is like forcing him onto the woman. It's fucking funny. It's so funny to see. It's funny to look at it through, like, he's been doing this like right in front of you forever. It's still a good movie. It's a good movie. That's how he got the good performances, guys. The only issue I have with this movie is that they shot day for night. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I don't know if. I'll address that here in a minute.
Because when they shoot day for night, they're shooting in the daytime. They dim it down, and then they usually add a blue filter to it, so it looks like it's sort of nighttime. But it's really distinctive. The one dude wakes up to tell his friend about some shit that I just saw go down, and I'm like, what time is this? Because it was like broad daylight, and then that guy's sleeping next to a fire. This will always be one of my favorites, but it is very close to Friday the 13th, so I understand there's a lot of scuttlebutt about.
I guess I don't have it written down. I didn't know. Yes, the daytime shots when you expected it to be night. I didn't know if I was just assuming that all this stuff that took place was throughout the night, or if this took place. Like, if time wasn't moving as fast as what I was thinking. Like, did they just lay down beside the fire and have sex, or did they sleep there? And
I think there was a lot of times where it was supposed to be night, where it was very hard to tell.
Yeah.
No matter how you feel about Harvey Weinstein, this is a good movie. You got your Jason Alexander and Holly Hunter with their first real roles. I think that Holly Hunter said that this was the movie that got her SAG card. So you got Tom Savini on the effects; they're top notch. Despite the shadow he casts over this film, I think this is still a beautiful 80s horror movie. It's an 8 out of 10.
Well, yeah, you judge the movie for what it is.
Yeah.
But Jared Collins actually introduced me to this movie. Borrowed his VHS back in the day. Summer camp slasher, and it doesn't really get any better than that to me. That's what I like. The cabins, cottages, lakes and forests and campfires and campfire stories. Like I love that in horror movies. It's often gets, and I have 81, by the way, for this, but it might have been written in 80. But it gets the bad rap of Friday the 13th ripoff. This I keep hearing that this script came first, but you know what? I don't really care. I love Friday the 13th and The Burning, and I wish they'd keep making movies like this. I don't care. Just change it up just a small bit. Give me the summer camp slashers. Bring them back. In the beginning, or towards the beginning, you get that New York dirty New York slasher movie, almost like a Maniac feel. And then we go to the summer camp, so you get two different kinds of slashers in one movie. Obviously the cast, seeing Jason Alexander, that stuff's cool, but like I think there's some other people in there that I recognize, but I didn't go search them out. But just a very solid, likable cast, especially for a slasher.
The guy from Short Circuit is in this movie too. What's his name? The main dude in Short Circuit. He's also
I don't know
Doctor
his name.
Doc Ock.
You recognize
Spider-Man.
lots of faces.
Yeah,
I
forget his name.
I don't know his name. I recognize him.
Really like the music. The practical effects is good. Savini does a great job. Doesn't really pick up to the third act, but I think part of having good characters, good actors, I think that helps carry it through. There is some not so good things. Cropsy on fire, like I get you got to have your protective clothing on, but don't ever shoot a dude on fire in slow motion, because you can clearly see this is not just Cropsy. And the raft scene, as great as it is, there is a couple times where he's killing someone, picks it up, and it shows an upward shot, and there's no blood on the shears and stuff like that. But that's the small stuff. There's like 3 or 4 movies that kind of they alternate with being my favorite movie. This is one of them. This is one of the best slashers ever made. I give it 10.
I hated it. I didn't like it at all.
What?
Oh god. There were things about it I liked. I want to go through the things about it that I liked. The special effects, when they came, they looked good. I really liked the fact that Cropsy had a headquarters.
What?
A headquarters, as I'd call it. Because I feel like I love
that term. Oh, this is Cropsy headquarters.
I feel like I've seen a lot of movies
cabin?
where there's a killer spooking around in the woods. So people are in a tent, they come out, the killer kills him, goes back to the woods. You don't really know what he's doing out there. Maybe he's sleeping in a bush. Right. Nobody knows, but he had a roof over his head to stay and to plan.
It's nice to know that he had a place to go.
So things look good. That skull in the beginning looked amazing. The skull candle that they first burned Cropsy with. I think that was the coolest looking thing in the movie. That's where it drops off for me.
See, we got a youth perspective here.
It definitely has to be a generation gap, because
definitely no, it's not. It's not about generation, but I am aware that
something is wrong with you.
No, nothing's wrong with me.
You take one of the greatest slashers ever made, like just
I can understand
almost unanimous.
The way that it just the
I've
way that
given
it
this a lot of thought. No one's gonna like me after I say this. No one at all.
Well, nobody's gonna.
But okay, so I took it in chronological order. There's the skull candle that burns Cropsy. You see Cropsy get burned, and he runs to the creek or whatever and extinguishes himself. He's in the hospital for a while, and he gets out and he kills a prostitute, stabs her in the stomach. That all had to happen within 5 minutes of the movie. I checked the time between that shit and the next kill, and it was at the 49-minute mark.
There is a
lot of 45 minutes of kids just talking about.
Like I said, it don't pick up to the third act, but
I was annoyed.
If you don't have fun with this cast, I don't know.
I wasn't. I did not have fun. I was annoyed.
As far as slashers go, this is by far one of the best casts out there.
Jason Alexander, fuck him. I don't care. I was annoyed with every single person in this movie.
He's off. He's never coming. This guy's never coming back on the show again.
It was 45 minutes of kids talking about titty magazines
That's
and
what an 80s
lubricated
slasher
condoms.
is.
I read somewhere online a review that said if you didn't fall in love with this in the 80s in junior high, you might not appreciate it.
That's
And
that way with a lot of
something.
movies.
Maybe it's something
Like-
with that.
like,
I feel like
you
it
said
is,
it
but-
earlier though. You said you thought that Summer of '84 was going to be an '80s kind, like this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And like, do you just not like if a movie looks or feels too '80s, you're like, ugh.
No, absolutely not. I can
Okay.
go further back than
Okay.
80s. I'm totally fine with that. I felt like the pacing was wrong. I found myself yawning and looking at the clock after 45 minutes of the first intro thing. Like, when is something going to happen? Like, I get if you like it. If you like the titty magazine, the lubricated condom, like, backstory for 45 minutes, but
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
50 minutes in, I was looking at it like, when is something going to happen? Like, it's been a while.
Summer camp movie. I mean, fuck. You know, this is how much I like summer camp movies.
I'm
when
not
they,
into them.
When they
That-
walk out
that's-
in the morning, when she goes to take a shower, and she has her towel, and she's just walking out to the showers. I took note of the fucking birds, hearing the birds chirping. And what a good feeling. This makes you feel like absolutely like you're there at a summer camp. Like, this is camp slashers.
See,
is my
I
thing.
didn't spend much time at summer camp. I got
Well, I
sick.
never went
went
to. No,
home
fuck it.
early.
That's not
This
about.
guy over here has spent a lot of time in summer camps in
It's
the
not
'80s.
about. No, it's not
in
about
the
that.
movies.
All right, but
It's the whole setting.
the thing I'm trying to make
that's
is
what I like.
the first three things happening within the 5 minutes of the movie. Maybe it's almost near 49 and a half, maybe 50-minute mark.
Yeah, everything
Depending
you're
on what
saying, I
version you
get, but you haven't told me yet why it's a terrible movie.
And then the first kill that you see after the 45
You get that before
the,
even
the first kill that you see after the 45-minute wait, as I think it's the dude who's out in the creek, and he calls his girlfriend out. They touch a little bit, and she's like, "I don't want to do this." He's like, get the fuck out of my
None of
face."
them want to do it.
Yeah, no, so she leaves, but the kill that you see after
It's gonna be real good, baby. I promise. It's
Yeah.
real good.
after 50 minutes of waiting for the next kill, it looks like they dip the shears in like Caro syrup and just drag it across her throat. For that to be the first kill that I saw after 50 minutes of waiting was not impressive. But there is what they call an infamous kill,
Holy smokes!
where they're looking for the lost kayaks or canoes or whatever. And like 5 or 6 kids get massacred, and that looked cool, man. Like they cut off the fingers, and his fingers flop like little
It's the rap.
cocktail sausages. That looked cool. I think he drives the shears through somebody's head. Like
Infamous.
the special effects looked great. I still think the skull candle was the best looking thing that I saw. It probably looked better than Cropsy himself. I wasn't impressed with the way Cropsy looked.
They could have made Cropsy look, especially with Savini. I was surprised that Cropsy wasn't
I don't know, man. I went in
a
with
little bit more detailed. I mean, the candle for sure was better looking than Cropsy.
it had maggots and like worms.
Who
and shit
made
in
that
its
candle?
mouth. Tom Savini did. It looked great. I want to find a replica, but I hated this movie. Like,
They should.
I want to get memorabilia from this movie, even though I fucking hated it. Like,
Tom, what are you doing in there? I'm making a candle. It's great.
Look at this. This is gonna be the highlight of the movie.
Is that Cropsy? No, it's a candle.
I don't
It's
know.
gonna be the beginning of the
It would be
movie.
so funny if that was the thing he was the most proud of. If he was like, guys, check it out. And they're like, what is that, Tom?
candle
This is what they're going to light on fire. And it's going to catch Cropsy on fire. Okay, well, yeah. Well, wait, make sure it's centered in the camera. We want it to be. We want that. I'm working on the other shit, but
Even like the prostitute being stabbed in the stomach, like I just felt underwhelmed. It looked silicone. It looked fake.
maybe he's onto something. Maybe he spent too much time on the candle.
I didn't like it.
What did you give it though out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I just did not like it.
Despite what this guy says, this is The
Not
Burning
like it.
is a approved movie.
He's using that badge
Again,
man.
Think about it.
if you like slashers, you like camp slashers, this is one of the best made.
Think about it though.
If you haven't seen The Burning yet, be sure to check it out.
I want you to picture this. I'm at a 4. If I go lower, I'm at a 3, 2, 1, and 0. There's
I'm
4
disappointed.
grades lower I
Right.
could have gone. I'm
disappointed.
about halfway up the scale. It's
He's
not
almost-
terrible.
he's
There's
almost-
stuff that
Some
I
people
like.
don't. Some people don't like it, and some people won't even give it a chance because they think it's a Friday the 13th rip.
I went into it with a totally open mind, and man, it just bored me.
Throw a steak up there, Frank.
Make it sizzle.
It's a 4.
We'll be sure to get Jared's review on this to
Don't watch it.
tag along with us.